Craig and Karen supporting local bookstores, audiobooks, and more. Join the world of stories. As always, thank you for listening.
Hi, welcome to the Libro.fm podcast, where we talk to authors, narrators, booksellers, and more. I'm Craig.
And I'm Karen. All right, this is our third and final installment in the 10th anniversary podcast. One might call it an extravaganza. We get to speak to Christine Bollow in today's episode. She is the amazing co-owner and business partner of a Loyalty Bookstore in the Washington, D.C. area. There are 2 locations there, and they do some of the most incredible events I've heard about in a long time. I'm so enthused about what they're up to.
Yeah, I was amazed. So Christine is a co-owner of the store, but also the events manager. And I was looking at their calendar, and there's something like almost every day. And they're all like amazing authors and events. And I'm wildly impressed by Christine.
She is a busy and incredible person. And if any of that seems exciting to you, well, keep listening. You can learn more about it. Hi, Christine. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
We are so excited that you're here. And to get started, we would love if you could tell us and our listeners a little bit more about yourself and about your bookstore.
Yeah, so my name's Christine Bollow. I am one of the owners of Loyalty Bookstores. Loyalty is a Black, queer, Asian-owned bookstore. I co-own it with Hannah Oliver Depp, who is a fabulous bookseller and human. I have been in bookselling since 2018 or so. I actually was a quality control editor for audiobooks before that. So I am a huge super nerd fan of Libro.fm in all aspects. I've even written for the blog before, so I'm excited to finally be on the podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, when are they going to ask me? What else? Yeah, Loyalty is in DC and in downtown Silver Spring, Maryland. And that's about it. Oh, and I also, besides being a co-owner, I plan all of our events, and our marketing. So I do social media, author events, things like that.
Very cool.
I'm very busy and tired.
I was going to say, you have no spare time.
Yeah. I really don't.
Don't worry, we have a question about all the events later. So
yes,
okay, cool.
I've seen Loyalty described as a community-oriented bookstore. Can you tell us more about what that means to you guys?
Yeah, so, we're called Loyalty, and that's a word that means a lot to us. And it's part of our mission. We are loyal to the community. We have put roots down in this community, and we hope and, strive to be a place that the community will be loyal to as well. So for us, it's not just like, we love the community. It's not just lip service. It's something that we really think about in every decision we make. And, it's a very diverse community. Our staff is a very diverse staff. And between Hannah and I, we're like, you can just keep us on all of the months, like Black History Month, Pride Month, Disability Month, we're a little bit of everything.
All the bases are covered.
Yeah. So it's like, for us, it's not just about celebrating that one month. It's like having that representation all the time in all aspects in every corner of the store and every event we do, that kind of thing. Because we know what it's like not to have that growing up, not to have that, as a reader. And we want to make sure we give that accessibility and representation to folks.
I love that you mentioned your booksellers in your response, because we were noticing that, your booksellers are really prominently featured on your Instagram and, throughout all of your messaging. And so as bookstore lovers ourselves, Craig and I always talk about how we love when we're hand sold a book and how like shelf talkers are our favorite part about going in. And there's just so much that can't be replicated by large online retailers. I will say that. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about, what the booksellers and that team mean to your store and kind of how you've developed this amazing crew of people to do this work.
Yeah. I mean, we have amazing booksellers at the store, and I'm so glad you noticed. So I think one thing that perhaps sets us apart from a lot of other bookstores or bookstore owners is that Hana and I both started as booksellers before becoming an owner. And this isn't shade to people who didn't go this route. It's just something I've noticed. A lot of bookstore owners, they come to it at like different stages in their life, and they go into book selling as an owner. Hana was a bookseller, a manager. She worked at various different stores for about 10 years or so before opening Loyalty. And then I worked in bookselling as well, always in the events side of things. But I actually worked at Loyalty as an employee for a couple of years and then became a co-owner last year. So I think that gives us that perspective, that the frontline bookselling staff is always top of mind to us. And it's hard. It's hard to be ethical in like a capitalist society, but we try. And we don't always get it right, but we try. We're trying our best. And yeah, all of our booksellers, like they're artists, poets, musicians, like everyone is just cool. Like, like it's not like it's a requirement to be cool to work
There's
at our
no
store.
cool
But
test during the interview.
There isn't. I do joke that you have to be hot though. Because, oh my God, this is appropriate. Whatever. Like
The
I'm a
Libro at Night
bisexual,
podcast.
right? I'm a bisexual disaster. Like we're very thirsty at the store. But yeah, everyone's just like really cool and brings a lot of perspective. And we really try to, highlight the staff picks and what everyone's excited about, whether it's in the in store on this, the shelves, and then also on social media as well.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you all definitely do seem like a very cool group of people. We were like, we want to go hang out with them.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys can always hang out with us.
Thank you.
But we'll
This feels very
probably
Mean Girls. You can't sit with us.
No, we are like not exclusionary at all. But we're like all nerds, but like cool nerds, right?
Exactly. Yep. I can relate.
I love it. So Loyalty has been on Libro for a while. I did some sleuthing in our like database
Ooh.
while we were working on the script, and you were in like you joined when we only had around 500 stores, and now we're at over 3,000 stores. So you guys were in on the early side of things.
Oh, wow.
And even more interesting than that stat, my favorite stat that I found while sleuthing around was that your booksellers collectively have downloaded 3,500 ALCs.
Oh,
So
wow.
advanced listener copy. So it sounds like you have some big audiobook folks there.
Honestly, I'm probably like a third of those. Like I download so many, but like, I used to work in audiobooks. So,
Yeah.
and I do all of the events. So if I think it's something that might be in the store, I'll download it because I want to like get a listen for it. And
Totally. Why did Loyalty decide to originally partner with Libro, and what role does it play in how you sell books to like a wider variety of folks?
It's funny because wasn't I wasn't around when Hana first started Loyalty. We started in 2019 and then I joined in the summer of 2020. So I actually can't answer specifically why Hana joined, but I know that they are someone who is always eager and excited to support other people in the community. And I'm guessing that they probably thought Libro.fm was cool.
The cool
and,
test.
you know,
There it is again.
decided to like try it out. This isn't quite answering your question, but I can tell you that I first found out about Libro.fm through Bookstagram. I won a giveaway. And I got a credit for Libro.fm, and it was in 2017. So I think that's when I joined Libro.fm. And the first book I listened to was the Lincoln Bardo.
Oh, the
George
George
Saunders.
Saunders book,
yeah.
Lincoln
Yeah.
and Bardo. I love that
Yeah.
book.
How do you
Yeah.
remember that? You were just talking about how you're reading like so many books all the time for this like judging, but you remember your first audiobook on Libro.
Well, I have a really good memory. But also I was just thinking about, because like I said at the beginning, I am a Libro.fm super fan, and I really love you guys. And so yeah, I was just thinking about it before we started. Like, when did I first join Libro?
Now I'm curious what my first Libro book is. So after this call, I'm gonna scroll
Right.
all the way back. Yeah.
Well, I would love to talk a little bit more about the events that you are planning and hosting. It seems like such an important part of loyalty, and also, as we alluded to before, a very massive part of your job. And I know how kind of stressful, honestly, like stressful and time consuming event planning can be. So I'd just love to hear a little bit more about kind of what your approach is to curating events and deciding what's going to happen at the bookstore, and why it's important to your mission.
Yeah. Thank you. It is a lot of work. Dude, oh my God, so much work. But it is important, and you know, we are an events heavy bookstore. I think, you know, for us, we are championing books by marginalized authors, and you know, it's important for me and for the store, to champion those authors in every way we can. And a big part of that is the events programming. Whether, you know, whether it's authors who are super established in their career, like Jasmine Ward. Um, you know, that was something I've been trying to make happen for years. I have an author wish list spreadsheet. And when I started in 2020, Viet Thanh Nguyen was my first author on the wish list. And then Jasmine Ward was the second person on the spreadsheet, because I made the spreadsheet. And Jasmine Ward was Hannah's first choice. And then last fall, sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but last
No,
fall
this
we
is
No,
great.
ramble
posted
away.
both of them within a week of each other. And it
Wow.
was like crying, like, all my dreams have come true. You know, I've worked so hard for this for like 3 years to make this happen. I mean, I think when it comes down to it, like loyalty, we like to say we have zero chill about books. We have zero chill about the authors we love. Like, you know, we're not cool people, even if we seem like it. Like, we have no chill. We are enthusiastic AF. And like, so for us, the events, it's not only a way to highlight the book, it's a way to really celebrate it with our community of readers, with the authors. Like, when I say we really want to do an event, like I mean it with every fiber of my being, you know. And so we do, you know, folks like Viet Thanh Nguyen and Jasmine Ward, but we also do a lot of debut authors, a lot of authors who maybe don't have that reach yet, but we still believe in them. As an example, we did an event with Victor Manibo, who's a queer Filipino speculative fiction writer. He came to the store last week for his sophomore novel. And, you know, we were talking because I'm queer Filipino. And for me, you know, it's like, I get, even just thinking about it, like I'm emotional. The fact that we got to celebrate his book at the store and like see it on the shelves, and to know, um, you know, when we hand sell it, like, I don't know, it means something to us, you know? It's not just about, I mean, yes, we are trying to make money to survive and live in this world, but like it's more than that. Um, yeah. I lost my train
That's
of thought because I got emotional.
No, I love it. I'm so glad we asked this question. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, it's hard to like find vendors and running events is hard. Instead, we got
Oh.
this like beautiful answer. So
well, and I love that you mentioned your spreadsheet, A, because I love a spreadsheet, and B, because my follow-up question that I was dying to ask you was like, what is a dream event that you would love to host?
Um, well, I can answer that in also. So it's a little bit different, but I'm my dream and something I'm working on now and hopefully will happen this year is to have the inaugural Filipino American Literary Festival in DC this fall. Um, and
Amazing.
to have Film authors. Um, yeah, that's what I'm working on right now in all my free time.
I love
That's
that it's your dream, but
amazing.
also it's happening. So that's
It's soon going
amazing.
to be a
Yeah.
reality.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm working on it, and I hope. Yeah, we're like in early planning stages, so I don't want to say, oh yeah, it's going to happen, but I feel strongly and hoping that it's going to.
I am confident that it will. That's so exciting. Thank you for telling us about it early.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yes.
I love how loyalty has expanded beyond just brick and mortar and like typical online sales. I saw that, I forget if it was during COVID or just in general, you guys started loyalty bundles and your leap of faith boxes. How does your team go about like picking what goes in those boxes? And also how has that been going for you guys?
um, yeah, it's obviously like not as huge as it was during the height of the pandemic. But we are still doing it. We are still finding that people do the bookseller bundles. Basically, they have a couple options of tiers for like how much the bundle is, and then they will either get it for themselves or a friend, family member, and give us some guidelines on what the person likes, and then the booksellers will pick it out from there. So for that, it's really fun because we can guide them maybe to books, right, that we know are amazing, but for whatever reason they don't get the marketing dollars, or they're not selling as well because either they don't get the marketing from the publisher, or it's like a disabled indigenous author who's just not getting the attention that they should get. So it's like our chance to get those books in people's hands. And for the leap of faith, that started Hannah came up with the first title, which was Legend Born by Tracy Dion, which ended up becoming a big, huge hit. And that started because Hannah is a recovering academic and Arthurian super nerd. And I say that with lots of love. Um,
In case she's listening.
yeah, she'll know I mean it with love. So it started with that. And then, it's like, we just I don't know if you guys can tell, but we really like celebrating books and authors by diverse
We've
people.
noticed, yeah.
But it's like, yeah, if it's a smaller press, if it's a debut author or emerging author, maybe it's a poet who has a novel out for the first time, or it's an essay collection. And it kind of just happens like if it's a book that one of us reads and we're super excited about it. We always ask staff too if they have something that they want to nominate. And then we've had people vote on things when we're like not sure. I've had 2 picks since I became a co-owner. My first one was Every Drop is a Man's Nightmare by Megan Kamale Kakimoto. She is a Japanese and native Hawaiian author. It's a really cool short story collection. Bloomsbury published that. And then we
Karen's
ended
eyes just
up.
lit up when you said short story collection.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes,
that's my
I
jam.
love
Yeah.
short stories.
Me too.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk after this.
I would love that.
But yeah, we'll pick out like items that we think go with the book. For that one, we wanted to focus on getting products by API makers. And then we actually and we usually have a loyalty product that goes in the box. And then for that one, we made it a smaller box, and we had part of the proceeds go to I can't remember which nonprofit, but it was shortly after the fire in Maui. So on Maui, so we had a bunch of the money from the boxes go to that. And then the current book is Ministry of Time. So we did, we picked like a journal, and then these like little bath teas, because one of the main characters like takes baths every day, and it's just like we kind of we'll brainstorm a few things and look at the costs and like, what can we reasonably get in time? What's going to like work with shipping? What do we think people will like? That kind
That's
of
awesome.
stuff.
I love how much like thought goes into it. It's not just like every month it's a bookmark, and a notebook. I like that it seems very thoughtful.
It's different every time. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's so fun.
So we end every episode with a lightning round, where we ask sillier questions.
Yes.
So I think you have the first one, Karen.
I do. My first question is about younger you. When you were 18 or so, what did you think that you would be doing at this age?
Dance. Well, that was not lightning round. Dancing or doing like motion capture in movies.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, wait, say more about both of those things. Are these things that like, yeah, tell us everything.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Like, please, more.
Sorry, I know we like don't have a ton of time. Okay, so I used to be a professional dancer and was training to do motion capture and stunt fighting. But I had hip surgery, which ended my dance career, and which is how I got back into reading as a priority. And I started a Bookstagram account, and that's how I ended up getting into books as a career. Because I can't dance anymore, which is sad, but it's also led to, a wealth of other exciting things.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Thank you for telling us that. That was an amazing answer.
These are supposed to be lighthearted questions, Karen. What have you done?
I'll try to go quicker, lightning round.
No, you're perfect.
So, given the DC Silver Spring area, have any famous politicians ever come into the store? And if they haven't, is there a politician you wish would come into the store?
Well, Will Jawando comes into our store pretty regularly. Obama has
Spot
come in,
blown up.
but that was before it was technically Loyalty. It used to be Upshur Street Books. But yeah, because we're kind of out of the area for like the super political part of DC, so we don't get a ton of that with the politicians coming to visit us.
It's probably for the best, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I'm going to throw another one in because Craig and I love to ask people this question every once in a while. What is your most favorite and your least favorite household chore?
Oh, I hate doing laundry. And I like if I'm not on a schedule, I like cooking and doing the dishes. But
who
only
likes
if I
doing the dishes?
But like there's something kind of therapeutic about it. Like if you're listening to an audiobook and doing the dishes, but it's only if I'm not like if I'm having one of those lazy weekends where, like, or if it's the week, you're on a holiday.
Yeah.
If it's a normal day, I don't want to do anything.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the last one, Craig? Sorry, I threw a curveball in with my bonus question. So
Oh, sure. That's why I was like, why is she looking at me? It says your name on the script.
throwing everything out of whack.
I was like,
I could ask you
she
guys a
asked.
question. Let's just go crazy.
Yeah. I was like, she threw in that random TJ Klune question.
We asked TJ that too, and I think he had the same favorite as me, which is that we both love cleaning grout, like in a shower or like any sort of tile situation, which
interesting.
I think is unique. I think a lot of people think that's pretty horrifying, but that
Yeah,
I find
'cause it is.
very meditative.
I get that. If I'm mad, if I'm like, that's like a good thing to do when you're pissed off.
Just
totally. just hate scrubbing.
Right?
Yes.
I get it.
This was a tangent, but now I'm leaving this all in. So, anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm sure I can see the pile or mountain rather of books that you have to read behind you. So we really appreciate your time. But before we let you go, we end every episode with asking for a recommendation. So what are you reading now or read recently that you think that we and our listeners should be reading?
I just reread The Light from Uncommon Stars by Ryka Aoki, which is one of my favorite books. I started a new book club at Loyalty called Gasians, which, as you might suspect, we read books by queer Asian authors. And one of my favorite things to do with re-experiencing a book I love is to listen to the audiobook. So I listened to the audiobook with my Libro.fm credit. I think Cindy K is the author. It's Cindy K or Catherine Ho. I can't remember. But it's a really great audiobook. So I highly recommend that. And my favorite audiobook of all time is Hollow Kingdom by Kara Jane Buxton. And I think it's Robert Petkoff is the narrator, and it's brilliant and hilarious, and he is insanely talented.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait. Thank you for the recommendations. This
Absolutely.
is like gold for us. Well, thank you again for all of your time. It was so nice to meet you in person, and we hope we get to come visit you in your store soon.
Yes, anytime we'll hang out and we'll be like, we're so cool all together in our nerdery.
Yes.
That sounds
We'll come down and
perfect.
do some live podcasting during the Filipino author event.
Yes.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be
yes,
awesome.
You're welcome to hang out anytime. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Nice to meet you.